Hello, welcome back to That United Show. In Aaron's absence this week, it's his birthday. He's out with his family, doing whatever you do on your birthday. First of all, big up, Aaron. Happy birthday. Many happy returns. Have a wonderful day with your family, with your friends. Very happy to step in tonight. Normally have Sunday nights off recently, but now stepped into the hot seat again to host another show at Manchester United. Of course, the only real top six club with any news circulating about us this week that's worth chatting about. Is Ollie on his way out of the door? Will Poch come in? Will it be Nagelsmann in? We're going to be discussing that with you today. We want your views, your opinions, so get your super chats in now. Before we do that, though, make sure you smash the like button. I'm talking like keep it in it like this. If you've got loads of different accounts, I know some of you have loads of accounts because when you get barred sometimes of being offensive, you come straight back on with another account. So log into all them accounts, like the stream, share it on your social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and all that jazz, so we get as many viewers in as possible. We've got a really good group of guests tonight. A man like Danny from Devil in the Details. He's here with one of the most impeccable cameras I've ever seen, YouTube streaming. Got Neeks in the house. We got Flawless with a brand new microphone. So man is standing Chris. I'm talking top of the end, McCoy, Chris. We're not talking Tesco's own brand. We're talking McCoy, proper McCoy, mate. And hasn't been on for a while, actually. Got man like from That United family. He is here with us. Good evening, all of you. How you all doing?
Yeah, man, it's good to be on. Love that intro. Great intro in that. Man said the real McCoy's fantastic. And it sounds better in your accent as well. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of those things that sounds good in Southern, like Cockney. Yeah, no, I get that completely. There's some things that don't, do you know what I mean? But that one certainly does. Yes. How are we all doing? Like, United haven't played for a week. The transfer window ended, and we'll get on to whether you guys felt that it ended well or poorly later on in the show. But there's been a lot of problems, a lot of turmoil, a lot of angst and frustration this week. And we haven't even kicked a ball. And we're still making the front pages. Like, one thing we can't deny, we're massive. We're massive. Do you know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah.
No word of a lie.
I mean, you know, Man United not playing. It's supposed to the way that it's gone recently. You're like, you know, at least you can't upset my weekend. But somehow, some way, Man United still find a way to make my weekend bad. It's like they're dead set on just making my weekend frustrating. They're not playing, but they're gonna put out some news that's gonna be like another defeat, another dagger to the heart. So. Yeah, I mean,
it's like it's bad enough we lost 6-1, and then all of these stories. You've got someone snitching within the football club, just singing.
Man, it's Titanic FC. There's leaks everywhere, mate. Like it's just terrible. Everywhere you go, there's leaks. And you know what mad is? I had Culture Cam's on last night, and he's very much Ollie out. But even this man said it. And I say even because he obviously doesn't want Ollie to stay in the job. It's like, I can't be back in these leaks. And this is one, we'll get onto that in more detail, but this is my issue with Man United right now. I thought we were on the road to being fixed. And I had iTest phone the show earlier, played a video down where he said, earlier in the summer, where he said, like, the Glazers never want us to win the league titles. They never got sort of back us 2 summers running. And I shut him down. And I've had to apologize because I bought into the propaganda back in March where they were talking about restructuring the recruitment system. We're doing X, we're doing Y, we're doing Z. I've been fooled, bro. I told you, I've been full Alfie Mooned. Kat Slater has cheated on me again, bro. And it's the last time, this time. Like, you're gone. I'm taking that money. I'm leaving. She can get with Kush. I don't care. Kush can handle that. I don't want to handle that no more, bro. I love EastEnders. What Kush doing with Kat anyway? Like, that don't make sense to me, bro. Like, Kat was cool 15 years ago. Kush, bro.
I mean... He's just running through the family, innit? Stacey, Kat, maybe Jean next.
Can you? Oh no, mate! It's got to be Mo, innit? It's got to be.
Yeah, I've not watched EastEnders in years. Is Mo still kicking around?
Yeah,
I've not watched. Is Mo still about?
Yeah, man.
Fat Elvis, man.
Fat Elvis, yeah, man. She's still, She's still doing her thing, bro. She's still doing her thing. But yeah, that's how I feel. So I'm done with I'm done with Man United to such a point now where I don't think I'm ever going to be overly positive again. That's how I just feel done. You know, like I'm going to go to other EastEnders here. Right now, I'm Ian Bill. I'm looking at my nemesis, Phil Mitchell, and it's, I ain't got nothing left. I'm done. I'm just exhausted. And now we've got leaks everywhere. We're talking about Poch and Nagelsmann, and there's this little part of me that's like, I want to get excited because Nagelsmann is my dream. Poch is a good second best. But then I'm like, but we're going to ruin them as well. We're going to ruin them. It's like buying a brand new pair of like Nikes, 140 quid from JD. You put them on and then someone says, yeah, but now you got to walk through that muddy field. It's like, oh, but they're brand new. They're white. What am I gonna, do you know, that's how I feel right now. But we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk a bit of Tellus. We're going to talk a bit of Cavani and anything else that you people throw into the live chat area. Any questions, get your super chat. We actually had a super chat before we went live today. Eager. That's some mustard stuff. That is eager. It says here, saying, to be honest, I don't care who the manager is. They are still years behind us. Warrants being blocked for, wow. Oh, that's James LFC. By the way, James LFC 86. Somebody blocks him every stream. And this guy contributes to super chats. I have no idea why someone blocked you for that. You are 100% unblocked. I unblocked you already. And I've had to remove all but two or three mediators again because some people blocking you are mad. I don't know who's blocking you for saying that. I know it ain't Neeks. And Neeks
Drunk with power, man. Drunk with power, the moderators, man. Drunk with power. They wilding out here just blocking people.
Exactly. You meant to block the genuinely offensive things, not someone saying, I don't think Ollie's a good enough manager. That's not offensive. You're offended by that. Check yourself into somewhere in a medical facility, brother. Needs you. But we're here tonight. Carl, I want to hear from yourself first, mate. It's been a while. How's things your end with the kids, the family, the YouTube channel? Lockdown treating you well?
Yeah, buzzing, mate. Lockdown was a struggle, mate. But apart from that, it was all good. YouTube channel doing all right. Second one after I deleted the first one, and then just Man United, isn't it? Bearing down on my life recently, but it is what it is, mate. It's just that managerial merry-go-round that is Manchester United nowadays. The sort of 2-year Champions League curse has come back to haunt us. Going through the same cycle that we did with Mourinho, back the manager until you get the Champions League money. But as soon as you get the Champions League money, mate, we will fucking turn the tap off. So that's how it is, isn't it? I'm just fucking sick to death of this board, mate. Don't know if you've seen any of my videos recently, but I just slagged the Glazers off in every single one of them. So yeah, that's my stance on it.
And I hear you on that. And we're going to delve into that in a little more detail now. Everyone tuning in, hit like buttons, share buttons, retweet buttons. Whoever wants to go first can go first on this. We've seen these leaks coming out left, right, and center about players not liking training. And the one this morning made me chuckle. I was eating my cornflakes and I was when it was like, Woodward will have no hesitation sacking Ollie. And I'm thinking, what, the same guy that had no hesitation sacking Moyes, sacking LVG, sacking Jose Mourinho? Because, as if it's not his fault that we're here. What do you guys make of the leaks coming out of the club right now?
It's a great distraction. That's what it is. With no football being played and no results to speak about, all we should be speaking about is Woodward and the Glazers right now. But these leaks are designed to cater to the media and the fans who want Ollie out. And I'll tell you right now, you're being set up for a fall. Woodward does not sack managers at the first opportunity. Because remember, don't forget, the minimum requirement is Champions League football. As long as that's a possibility, sorry to tell you, Ollie out mob, he's keeping his job, whether you like it or not. It's too early. And the fact that we're talking about sacking Ollie 3 games into the season is just ridiculous. But Woodward, he knows how social media is. He knows how the media are. So, stories like, he's prepared to sack. Yeah, you don't say if we lose 4 games in a row, you might sack the manager. What channel wouldn't be considering that? What are we doing here? How can people not see through this nonsense? And don't even get me started on, people. What really, really frustrates me the most is not just that people want Ollie out. It's when Poch is the guy that people want. Why would you want Poch at Manchester United Football Club? What evidence do you have that he would thrive at Manchester United Football Club? At Southampton, they recruited well consistently. Do we do that at Manchester United? He had a technical director. Do we have one at Manchester United? At Tottenham, they recruited well. The pound amount is irrelevant. fact that he worked on a budget is irrelevant. Doesn't matter how much money you spend. Can you consistently recruit well? Woodward has proven he can't do that. So what makes you think Poch is the guy to overachieve with Manchester United? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It took 5 years for him to get to a Champions League final. He didn't win it. He hasn't won any trophies. His best title challenge was the equivalent of Wenger when he was finished at Arsenal, in the title race in February, March, and that was it. But people have it in their head, he'll come to United. The football would be better. I give you that. That's it. That's all I can give you. The football would be better. Sabotage. Sorry, Terry. He will be sabotaged within 2 seasons. 3 if you're lucky. 3 if God is on your side. Like, that's the best you're going to get, honestly. Woodward would sabotage him within 2 years. And you know what? Look, I respect Flawless. I'm calling him Kamikaze Flawless because he acknowledges, you know what? The Glazers and the Woodward are so incompetent. That's all I have right now. So if we get a Poch, see what he can do to overachieve in the 2 years, we'll probably have to sack him because Woodward will sabotage him. Then we go again. Like, as long as you acknowledge that's the road we're heading down, then cool. But a lot of these Poch guys, they won't even acknowledge that. They won't acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Nagelsmann, like to your point, Terry, you've already touched on it, right? The reason why Ollie has to succeed is so when we hire a Poch, I won't even put Poch in there, but a Nagelsmann and Allegri, a proven manager, we don't waste that opportunity. We give them the best opportunity to succeed. Bringing in another manager now, you are setting him up to fail and you are deluding yourself as a Manchester United fan. You should be backing Ollie to the hill. And guess what? This tough fixture list, we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. He's not going to lose 4 or 5 in a row. He's not going to get fired. We're going to do better in these Champions League games and the Premier League games coming because these players, for whatever reason, they like it when you think they're going to lose. It's when you think they're going to win. That's when these players let you down because they're weak mentally. They're weak. But, that's my rant over, man.
Mate, I hear a lot of what you said there. Flawless, I want to come to you on this, bro. Do you feel like... I agree with what Dan said. I agree with what Culture Cam said last night. The football certainly improved. What we hear a lot from the Ollie out mob is when people say I'm Ollie in because I'm prepared to wait 2 or 3 years to become champions again to build something, they say, excuse the voice that's coming out now, but you hear, well, you're lowering your standards. Your standards are being dropped. It's about winning trophies at Manchester United. You speak to them about Poch and saying, well, so you think our board will back Poch? No, I think they'll throw Poch under the bus as well. So we're not going to win anything with Poch, major. No. Then why are you happy to have him? Well, at least we'll play good football. And I'm sort of like, well, do you not think that people are willing? Do you think people are willing to drop their standards, but only if there's a manager in charge that they like?
Yeah, I've realized that, like, being in this YouTube and footballing world, that people are more fans of being right and people are more fans of a manager or a set player. So if a certain player they like plays poorly, they'll defend that player regardless, even though that's hurting the thing that is Manchester United. I'm a big fan of Pogba, but if Pogba plays poorly, which he has, I will criticize him because at the end of the day, I want Manchester United to be successful. So therefore, he is stopping that. And I seen it was a fan. I don't know if it was out of context or anything like that, but there was a fan who, sorry about that, people around me. There was a fan who said something along the lines of, I'm Ollie in, but if Poch comes in, I won't back him at all. But I'm like, that makes no sense because if Poch comes in, you should want him to be successful. I want any manager of Manchester United to be successful because I want Manchester United to be successful. To me, that makes 0 sense. But that goes to show you're a bigger fan of a manager than you are the team. At the end of the day, I want Manchester United to be successful. I don't care who's in charge. It could be my worst enemy. Are you bringing in doubles? Are you winning in Premier Leagues? Are you winning quadruples? And the reason why Danny called me Kamikaze Flawless, because we spoke on it last week. I said with the board and the owners we have in, Manchester United are not built to be successful for a long period of time. So therefore, the only other option of success is short term. So therefore, I would take a season up here and then a season down here. Similar to what Chelsea have done in the past where they'll win the league, then the team will fall off. The manager will be 10th by December and get sacked. And then they always seem to be 12 to 18 months away from a trophy. They've won every single trophy in the past 10, 15 years. Is it ideal? Absolutely not. Is it the best we can get with these owners and boards? Absolutely. Absolutely correct. That's the best we can hope for.
Let me say, I think.
Yeah, go on.
Can you hear me clearly?
Perfect, bro.
I think the Chelsea model or the Chelsea argument is, in modern day football, is one that we can wish for, but I don't think we're even in a position where we can imitate what Chelsea have done, because Chelsea have a very clear structure of how they want to run their football club, whether it be how they deal with the youth setup in terms of, I call it the system. And a lot of youth get lost in Chelsea's system because they're not there to progress into the first team. They're there to fund Chelsea ability to strengthen their first team. And there's other things they've got in place. This year you heard them talking about Marina Graviscana, I think her name might be, I can't remember the surname. Before that, it was Michael Emenalo. They've got certain people in positions just below Abramovich, but above the manager, that take care of the recruitment side of the game, and they leave the head coach, that person is the head coach, to deal with the coaching. So they can bring in the best manager or whoever they feel is a suitable manager for that season or 2 or 3, if they can last that long, and get rid and then bring someone else. Whereas we're hiring managers where they're not just there purely on their coaching. They have to look at other aspects of the football club. And if they don't have that control over recruitment, etc., then that is left in the hands of people who are not football savvy. So I wish we had in this modern day football where you have a structure which can allow you to change a manager every 3 years if it's not working, but you still keep the structure. Whereas what we've done in the last 7 years is change the manager. And then when we change the manager, the whole structure of our football club, or the structure, the philosophy of our football club, changed at the same time. So Chelsea's an ideal example, but we're not even in a position to compare to what Chelsea do, what we want to do.
I get.
Sorry,
Let me just respond to that quickly. Just one very quick thing. Yeah,
no, I point about that. I want to add to it.
Yeah,
very quickly. Sorry, Flawless, because it's really, really key to Neeks' point about us not being in Chelsea's position. There's one thing you missed, Neeks. Everything else was 100% correct. Chelsea started doing that from a winning position. They had champions. They had experience. They had world-class players in their team. Sacked Mourinho and went on that cycle. So they had that structure, but at least they were at the top of the mountain and then fell, but were able to get there again because they had players who knew how to do it. We're 7 years into a horrible, we're 7 years into a bad cycle. We're not starting from a winning position to say every 2-3 years we bring in a top manager and we can sack him. When we overachieve, what's that going to look like? An FA Cup, second place, Mourinho's greatest achievement. Do you know what I mean? That's what it might look like.
But it's one of them. When I mentioned Chelsea, obviously I don't think United are set up to do it like Chelsea. Like we're not. Like I understand what you were saying, Neeks, but my point is like not to take their direct model because we can't. But at the end of the day, it's unfortunate. I hate saying this as a Manchester United fan. That's the best we can hope for. We all agree on here. We're not built for long-term success.
But I don't even know if we're built for short-term success. In the sense that
one second. With the caliber of player we can get. When I say short-term success, I'm just talking trophies. We haven't won a trophy. What was our last trophy? Was it the Europa League?
Yes.
2017. So we're going on 3 years, nearly 4 years to no trophy. So when I say success, I'm talking trophies. Obviously,
when I say short-term success, I'm talking one Premier League every 3-4 years. Or one Champions League every 3-4 years. And I don't even think if we brought in a top level coach right now, we can guarantee, like Chelsea pretty much guarantee in their model, that they're going to win a Premier League every 3-4 years. I don't know if we're even built for that, if short term, let alone long term.
Here's the thing, we can go on, Terry.
No, I was going to say, I hear what you're all saying on that. I think Chelsea is structured for that. We're not, because of what Nick says. We look like we're going to overhaul everything. And if you look at what we've done this summer, I look at the Tellus signing. We'll get onto. I think Tellus is brilliant, but I don't think he marries up with what Ollie wants from players, because signing Tellus, and so a caller put this in my mind last night. It made sense. Signing Tellus doesn't marry with signing AWB. AWB is a defensive fullback. What did Ollie then want? He wanted a Jadon Sancho that hugs that right-hand side and is creative from that point. Thus, that gives you balance. We've now gone for an attacking fullback on the left, which is the complete opposite type of fullback to what we have on the right. It's more in balance to our squad. That says to me one of two things. Ollie has no idea what he's doing in terms of recruitment. And if that's the case, why are you hiring him? Or the board have come in and gone, we need some appeasement signings because fans are saying, we want an attacking fullback. And if you've got owners and a board that just go, oh, you know what, Twitter's going mad for an attacking fullback, let's just go and buy one. And Ollie's sitting again, yeah, but I don't need one. Let me build what I want to build and it'll work. No, we're not even going to let you get to that point. Those two things together.
Remember, Terry, all the fullbacks we were linked to in the summer were fullbacks that were offered to us, which is and I always question, okay, if we're in for Reguilon and we're in for Telles, these are fullbacks that were offered to us. Where are the fullbacks, if we wanted fullbacks, that we were looking for? Where was the ones that we scouted? Or maybe it wasn't priority. Maybe they were like, oh, we'll look for one next year. It's not a priority. Oh, but you've offered one to us. All right, let's see if we can do a deal. So I don't even think it was a priority signing. So your point might be we really only signed Telles, or we were looking to sign Reguilon because they were available on a cheap fee, rather than they were actually part of what Solskjaer was trying to build.
No, I get that. Carl, from your point of view, let me ask you a question, bruv. Do you think Nagelsmann, Poch, Telles, Cavani, combination of all four, do you think they're going to save Man United in terms of making us top-level competitors again, year in, year out, where we might not win it, but we're going to be second or third, we're always involved, and winning titles again? Or do you think this is just going to be the same cycle, rinse, repeat?
It's going to be rinse, repeat, mate. You've seen it over the last 3 managers we've had, mate. Van Gaal won us the FA Cup, got sacked. They already wanted Mourinho. Mourinho came in, did well, getting the second, and that was probably the worst squad in 30 years at United. Champions League money comes in, Glazers pocket all that, don't back him or give him Dalot and Lee Grant and I can't remember who the other guy was now. And then you look at the Ollie stint now, He's changed the club from top to bottom emotionally. Like the whole ethos that he's trying to put in place has seemed to have worked as of late. Obviously not the start of this season. And then the whole feeling about the club's changed since Ollie's come in. And then he's got us third last season. And it's time to build again. He's laid a foundation there again. Where we could look to build on that. And the guys are talking about short-term success, long-term success. We're not going to have any success as long as this cycle carries on going, because we're building something. We've got a foundation to build on. Like we brought in, like you say, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, James. He's got Rashford, Martial playing some of the best football we've seen out of them two combined. We finished third, back in the Champions League. We look like we're like on the way back. And all of a sudden, Ollie doesn't even get any of his targets. Not one, not Sancho, not Haaland that he wanted. Upamecano was mentioned as well. So if there is 3 targets and we're getting sort of the second alternative to these targets, how do you expect anyone? Doesn't matter if you're Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, or fucking Alex Ferguson. Do you know what I mean? You're not. Well, Alex Ferguson's probably not he could manage anyone. He won a Premier League with Chris Smalling at centre half, for fuck's sake. But do you know what I mean? It's that ethos where you need to sort of build on the foundation. You can't just lay one layer then go, oh, we're finished now. Because no one's going to live in the house. Do you know what I mean? You need to carry on. You need to carry on doing that, and that's how you become contenders for anything, and in any competition.
I mean, you said
again, the board, mate, is the biggest thing. If you're not going to back the manager, it doesn't matter who it is, mate. It could, like I said, it could be Klopp, it could be fucking me. If you're not gonna back
it could be Pep Guardiola, and we'd sabotage him. That's how incompetent our board are.
100%, but we know. But Pep needs. Look how much fullbacks he's bought at City since he's gone there. We would have bought him 2, and he's like, "Oh, boss, I need another 2." He's like, "No, sorry, you got 2 already. Go again." Like, when they bought Claudio Bravo. Remember they bought Claudio Bravo?
Yeah.
And he was like, "I spent about 30 million on him," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I need a better keeper." And they went out and got him another one. Ed Wood would have been like, "I'm sorry, you got him, and you got Joe Hart. Make it work." Listen, if you're gonna put in a manager that you trust, if you trust him, you have to give him the tools for the job, as long as you've got the means to do it. And Man United have the means to do it.
Do you know what's
but
interesting?
at United, look at the gap between Shaw and Telles. 6 years. 6-year gap, 2 left backs. Pep gets 4 in one season. and then he signed another left back 2 seasons later.
And you know, it's interesting. Chelsea a great example, right? If it doesn't work with Lampard, they'll bring a new manager in, but they'll let him spend. So we just don't do it. It's like, okay, we bought a left back 3 years ago for the manager twice removed. You're going to have to stick with him. But on the Fergie comment, they were sabotaging Fergie. The difference was they came in when Fergie, actually, in fairness, we were in the process of building a new team, but we were only a handful away. But they they came in, and yes, between sort of them coming in 2005 up until 2008, we went on to be brilliant again. But 80-90% of that work was already in motion. The core group was already at the club. It was a handful of signings more from 05 to 06 that we got. Vidic, Evra, Carrick as predominant. And we did in the summer of 2007 have a very good summer bringing in Anderson, Nani, and Hargreaves. That cannot be denied. And we have signed very good players since then under them. But it was from that 09 period onwards, the lack of investment Fergie got. Now, Fergie was the greatest, and he got a tune out of this squad. But if you go back to there's no value in the market, we should have been signing the Agueros, the David Silvas in front of Man City, but we weren't prepared to invest. The reason we didn't sign, my opinion is this, and I guarantee it's a fact. The reason we didn't bring in Benzema's and the Wesley Snyders is because the club wouldn't sanction the money.
Hazard, same thing.
The only reason we only started spending big after Fergie was because the new Premier League TV money came in, which was nothing to do with the club. We suddenly went from getting like £80 a year in TV revenue to getting 180, 190 million pound a year from the Premier League, and we had additional money to spend. It's an absolute farce, and you look at it all from the leaks to I don't care about replacing the manager at all because he's going to be sabotaged, and actually, it will be more painful this time. It'll be more painful because we might actually suddenly get beautiful football, but still only get to a level where we're like, can you imagine if we just had good owners and a good board, we could push on and really compete?
Yeah, that's the thing, though, is that we're as Manchester United fans, unfortunately, we are in that position where it's like, even if we say we did bring in a new manager and he was playing great football and we needed that 3-4 players to come in to take us to the next level. I'm just looking at it like the reason why I'm a fan of Poch, because it's like, this will be, if he came in tomorrow, for instance, this will be the best group of players he's had in the Premier League. This is better than the Southampton side he started with. It's better than the Spurs side. Yes, he didn't win anything with Spurs, but he still did well there. Even though he didn't win anything, he elevated Spurs as a club. We didn't take Spurs seriously up until Poch. So I'm looking at it like, all right, maybe if you can get some form of tune, maybe I'm reaching for the stars here. You lot let me know. I might be reaching it. I might be doing a Dow sim.
I'm gonna let you know.
Maybe we can. Let me know. Maybe we can. If everyone's bad and it just clicks, and we can Leicester a league, or we can do a Chelsea in the Champions League and just win it out of the blue. That's the only way I see it happening. But because we're Manchester United, we can always attract players of a certain caliber. This squad, is it a title-winning side outright? Everyone playing 100%? No. But it's still a good enough squad to be doing better than it is. It's not 6-1 at home to Spurs. It's not 3-1 at home to Crystal Palace. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like, with a better manager, maybe if other teams ain't playing too well, we could Leicester a league. This side we have.
I need to correct Flawless on something. Go on. Again, you can't ignore the fact that Tottenham recruited, he was there for 5 years. They recruited well consistently.
True.
Right? They didn't get a backup striker for Kane. That was their biggest mistake. But overall, they recruited really, really well.
They got.
Don't you think Ollie's recruited? Here's the thing, though. Don't you think Ollie's recruited well, though?
Yeah, but he's only 1 year in. He's only 2 years.
But this is one. Yeah, but he's only 2 years in. But in the past 2 years,
and he had a 7-year process to try and fix. He's already been sabotaged.
This is what I'm saying.
So that Tottenham back five, that centre back partnership of Vertonghen and Alderweireld, that back five is better than our back five now. Trippier was the precursor to Trent, basically. The balance he had in midfield. Dembele is what we wish Fred was, or we imagine Fred is. They had a proper defensive midfielder in Wanyama, a proper playmaker who is a consistent performer in Eriksen.
Did he inherit these players, or did he buy them? Did he buy Wanyama? Wait, did he buy Wanyama?
They had Harry Kane.
I think he bought Wanyama from.
He brought Wanyama in. Yeah, so I'm talking, when I say that, I'm talking about players that was there when he got there, not who he signed.
But they recruited well No, you can't trust. You can't trust Woodward to recruit well. Poch will maybe get one season of good recruitment, and that'll be a wrap. But in that team, they had Harry Kane, 25 goals a season, consistent. Son, who you could argue is better than Rashford. We've only seen the best
Son?
Rashford now.
Who signed Son? Was it Poch?
This is the thing. You say, is it Poch?
No, I'm asking. No. I'm asking. Brady. I'm asking you the question because I don't know.
Yeah, to my knowledge, he came in under Poch.
Okay, all right.
My point is, when I look at what the structures, when I look at what Poch has operated under, it's vastly superior to what he'll be inheriting at Manchester United.
All right, let me ask Flores a question. How many players would you say? Because you said that you don't think this squad, if everyone's at their best, are a title-winning team or title-winning squad. How many players would you say at this point are we away from being a title-winning team with the right manager?
With Tellez coming in, I believe Tellez will. With squad, I'm saying with Tellez coming in, I believe he will be good. From what I've seen and what I've heard from people like Aaron, etc., I've spoke highly about him. So I think we're 3 players away, which I don't think. I think we're a centre back, a holding midfielder, and a winger away, a right winger away.
But they have to be world-class players, not decent.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. You know, players I've spoke about. I've waxed lyrical about Upamecano for however long. You get what I'm saying? Thomas Partey, we should have got. Sancho, we should have got. If we get them free, we in business, especially with how the Premier League is being this season. Liverpool getting beat by 7.
I don't think it's about players. I think the thing with all this is it's about middle out. You can have the players. We've certainly had a manager or two that are capable of winning Premier League since Fergie. There's no LVG and Jose are high level. By the way, both managers, like Poch is going to have to be around for the next 25 years to ever be considered a better manager than Jose or LVG. Now, you can argue we got towards the end of their careers, whatever it may be, but it's about everything being right. And that's my issue with the board. Is that imbalance? We've had and bought good players. They've just not been right for what particular managers needed. And, you know, LVG said it was like, yeah, we signed good players underneath me, but they weren't who I asked for, or who I wanted. Now, we first of all were like, he's got sour grapes, he got sacked. And then we saw what happened to Jose. Jose did the same thing. We're now gone through this summer where we're like, yeah, I think they've done it to Ollie again. And suddenly the sort of chickens have come home to roost in many, many ways. And I just think that for me, and everyone's got their own opinions on this, and the viewers can have it. We've got some super chats to go through in a minute. You can bring Poch in. You can bring Nagelsmann in, you can bring Allegri in, bring Fergie out of retirement, do whatever you want to do. Over the medium to long term, I just don't see us improving as a football club. And it will be more painful if we're doing it with beautiful football. That will, I guarantee.
Can I ask Flores a question?
Yeah, go on. I want to ask you a question, but go on. You answer me, and then I'll ask you. Go on.
Yeah, if you were telling me, let's go get Ancelotti, let's go get winners, let's go get what is it about Poch? Other than the fact that he overachieved, that has you convinced he can win things with Manchester United. Because at Tottenham, he didn't have that pressure. He overachieved when there was no pressure. At United, he has to overachieve. It's weird. It's expected, but he has to overachieve at the same time, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. It don't make sense, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. I get what you're saying when you say that. So what it is with Poch isn't, even though he would be my number one choice because I think he's the most attainable, I'm not turning my nose up at Ancelotti, at Nagelsmann, or whoever. I will take any top level operator. It just so happens that Poch is the name that's mentioned the most. He's probably the easiest to obtain. He's been in the Premier League before as well. But if someone on here was like, I want to get Ancelotti, I'm not arguing you down. If someone was like, I want to get Tuchel, I'm not arguing you down. I'm not arguing you down any top operator. Nobody. I'm just saying Poch for me would be the number one choice. But because of how bad it is, I would take anyone from a top 5 list of that's been linked. I will take any of them because I don't believe it can get any worse than what it is right now. Because maybe it's me. I'm trying to look at the silver linings. One of yous on here, let me know. What's the solution then? Have we got no solution? Are you man telling me this is all she wrote?
You know what? For me, obviously, I think there's a lot of structural issues with, from the ownership right down to player recruitment and the actual players themselves, mentality wise. But I think there was Sky Cave is one of the worst presenters or mainstream media I've seen. He's so clickbait in terms of what he says and what he tweets. But he put out a tweet, which is something that I actually said. Oh no! He took your throne, Terry. He took your throne. He's right up there with Adrian Durham from TalkSport. Adrian Durham is something else, but
Durham's a legend.
I know. But something that I said after Jose got sacked, and he tweeted it after the transfer window. He says the next signing Man United should make is a director of football. And I said it after Jose. I said because obviously Ole was in as the interim, and I said before we hire the next permanent manager of Man United, we need to get a director of football. And from that position, you then hire the manager. If that manager says, yeah, let's keep Solskjaer because I like what he's doing, cool. If he says, no, Solskjaer's not good enough, let's go and get X, Y, Z, cool. As long as, that director of football, who is that director of football? There's a lot of names that are touted out there. And I think, of course, there's other issues that need to be sorted. But if we're talking about one thing you can change that will make an impact at Manchester United, I think a director of football changes everything in terms of how we're going to be performing on the field, because that deals with recruitment, that deals with the right type of coach, etc., etc.
I don't think it does. I don't think it would. I really don't think it would. Do you want to hear my reasons?
Go on.
Is if we can't build on what someone has put in place, and we can't go out and get obvious targets like Sancho, Haaland, Upamecano, if we can't sign these players because they cost too much, are we really going to listen to a director of football who's going to go out and identify targets with talent, essentially, which are going to still cost a little bit of money? Do you honestly think the Glazers are going to like say, yeah, do you know what, sign this kid for 20, 30 million?
Well, I think they would, because this summer's shown with the amount of youngsters that we've actually signed, and the key ones being Pellistri and Ahmad Traore. Somebody within the recruitment structure has seen these players and signed off by Ollie in terms of, yeah, let's try and go and get him. And then obviously Woodward and Judge have to agree with it. Someone in there is seeing and spotting out players, but for whatever reason, when we seem to miss out on the main targets, there is no obvious backup in those positions. We miss out on the target and we just got nobody. Now, if we go and get Sancho next summer because we couldn't get him this year, you'll say, fair enough. It was good that we didn't buy someone. But our structure should be so vast that if we miss out on one, there is a quote unquote, not exactly, but identical player out there that can fit in and do a job. If you look at Liverpool, they got Mane and Salah. Mane and Salah weren't Klopp's first choice. They wanted Julian Brandt. I think he wanted Mario Götze. I could be wrong. But for whatever reason, those two were unattainable. They didn't just say, all right, well, let's go next year and see if we can go back in for them or X, Y, Z, or let's go sign a 33-year-old backup striker. No, they went out and got other targets because they know the market. They have the contacts.
But we miss targets in multiple positions. That's the problem. Cool. If you can't get your first choice right winger.
But also, sorry. But also, when you got a sporting director, they have contacts. Why are we missing out on these targets? We got Van der Beek because we've got contact with Van der Sar. If Van der Sar's on our side, he's got contacts elsewhere where we can get these negotiations through the door.
That's what's really interesting, because the Van der Beek deal we got ridiculed and laughed at, celebrating it. Well, you only got it because you've got a good relationship with Van der Sar. So, yeah, bro, that's how most of these deals happen. One of the reasons we lose out on so many transfer targets is because people don't like Woodward. Like, they don't like him and his solicitors and lawyers and sort of commercial men that turn up to these negotiations. That's a part of it. One thing I'd say, Carl, the way I look at this about bringing a director of football, I kind of agree with your thread. I don't think Woodward would still relinquish power. I think Woodward would take the power away from him. I just think this is like, what's the name of the woman from the family of kings and queens, the evil ones in Game of Thrones?
Oh, Cersei.
He's Cersei. Like, that's what he is. He'll do anything to stay in power. I only watched it all nearly, and I didn't really get it all. There's a tweet here from Anne Marie. Sorry. I follow her Twitter account. She's great. And this just sums it all up massively for me, where she just says, heading for our 5th manager in 7 years, just wondering at what point that we stop and really question and hold to account the people making the decisions and hiring all these managers in the first place. Maybe competence is too much to ask for. And that's the thing, bruv. Like, I don't trust them to pick anyone right. And then if they do pick it right, I don't trust them not to mess it up. It's a madness, bruv.
That's the thing. Like, this is where I agree with Carl as well, because if you look at football clubs that actually know how to use technical directors, they don't always get it right with their technical directors either. And this is the first time we'll be doing it, and we're trusting Woodward to oversee that process. Can we trust him to do that? Juventus have just fired their technical director, by the way. Eric Abidal was technical director at Barcelona. He had no power. It was just a title. He couldn't really do anything. He couldn't really create a vision. And it wouldn't surprise me, like Terry said. I'd expect Woodward. Basically, Woodward needs to be the first. Before we even do anything, Woodward has to go first. Ed Woodward has to be fired. I don't think Manchester United, unless something changes under Ollie, people like get my whole Ollie thing misunderstood. He needs to succeed so we can move forward. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going in this cycle over and over and over again.
Making it sound like Jesus.
It's that deep. If Ollie, this is the way I look at it. If Ollie got his targets, and we know who those targets were, right, and he hits his ceiling, because I don't think Ollie can win us a title or a Champions League, then the next manager coming in would only need Woodward to back him properly for about a season. If Ollie got to a point where he got Sancho this season, reached the ceiling this season, next summer say, you know what, Ollie, you're gone. Cool. Woodward would, if by Flawless's plan, all Woodward would have to do with Pochettino is one summer, get it right, CDM and centre back, and we're good to go. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas now,
I hear you on that, bruv. I hear you on that.
Flood, man. Kamikaze this thing because we're not built for no long-term success. You get me? Woodward's not going nowhere. Go on, Danny. Sorry, but Woodward's not going nowhere. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, all right, we can sit here and talk about everyone is Woodward glazes out. That is the one thing that Manchester United fans, no matter your age, where you are, whether you're in Manchester, no matter if you're in Mumbai, you're in Africa, everyone is glazes out, Woodward out. That hashtag trends number one all the time. But they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, so but I think when we marry Ollie out with Woodward out, I think it dilutes Woodward out and it makes Woodward's job that much easier, because when we do sack Solskjaer, and he will be sacked at some point, when he is
sacked, won't last the season.
Yeah, whenever it is, when he is sacked, a lot of Man United fans for that moment, until bad results are coming in, are going to be very much appeased. There's not going to be any hashtags about Woodward. He's going to, like he might make appeasement signings, he will make appeasement footballing decisions, like hiring Ollie at the time when he did, and sacking Ollie at whatever time he does. And I think when we do the Ollie out and that hashtag starts trending, Woodward smiles because he knows that, well, it's not my head on the line.
It's true.
Yeah, the thing is,
I did a video on this earlier because we're going to move this on. I did a video earlier where I spoke about, you'll see all the positive PR. You'll see the sort of, this as Poch comes in. It'll be, and these will be the headlines. They'll use all the buzzwords. And I was chatting to someone today actually in the gym about how, like, there are good managers that can manage situations, but no one likes them. And then there are leaders. That's the one thing. And that's legitimately the one thing that Woodward has no ability to. He's not a leader of people. Nobody really respects him, in my opinion.
Sorry, Terry. Someone in the group chat said, if did he say if Ollie is Cersei? No.
Yeah.
If Woodward is Cersei and Ollie is Joffrey, like the disrespect. Like, you know, Game of Thrones.
The way that guy died actually made me laugh. I was so happy. But listen, I think this is what will happen. So Poch comes in, and there'll be sort of the articles will go in sort of an order of like he's a breath of fresh air. The tea ladies like him. The laundry men like him. And then it will be the players have bought into his training is revolutionary, and the players are all turning up 10 minutes early. Guess what? Pogba's happy. Pogba has been walking around the Aeon training complex, singing HAPPY and clapping for a week now. Then it'll be Rashford's moving on to the next level. Then it'll be an article that's done by really like big broadsheet that will be like Pochettino's patterns, his style, his triangles, and his system, and all the Ollie out like mob will be like, oh my god, but they'll sit there jerking off over the article, guys. Say, I told you, patterns of play, and it's because Woodward isn't an idiot, bro. Woodward will be like, right, I'm on Twitter. What do these people dislike about Ollie? Cool. When we bring the new manager in, all these things, and what it'll be like, Poch, you need to be outspoken about some of the things that the United fans didn't like. So say in your first press conference, trust me, I will challenge it'll be like Superman. It'll be like, I will challenge the board whenever they do something wrong. I will fight for your honor, Manchester United fans. Trust in me. And it's going to be the PR stunt at the centre, and all the United fans are just going to be sitting there like, oh my God, he's Messiah, he's Jesus, it's Jesus, he's saving us. No, it's PR, bro. That's what is going to happen. And when it's just going to be funny. But do you know how I know this? Because I've been sitting on the internet for 3 days, going back through articles, just Googling things like Man United fan reaction when LVG was appointed, and looking at the articles. And go watch the Sky Sports videos where they interview United fans after our last 3 managers have all been signed. They said the same thing that all the Poch merchants are saying now about he'll save us, he'll rejuvenate, he'll get everybody on board. It's the same shit. And I'm like, you man are falling for it again, bruv. Honestly, that's why I keep telling you, this is Alfie and Cat Moon, bruv. He keeps taking her back. She keeps sleeping with random men at nightclubs. It's never, ever, ever going to change. We've got some super chats to do here because we have been ignoring them. We're going to go to them now. First one, Zane in the house. Zane's here with us. What's going on, big man? He says, Neeks, no manager will save you when Gabriel has Cavani in his pocket, and Partey, a.k.a. the Terminator, will terminate your midfield. We are getting Zaha and Awar in January. Cope with that. I love it, Zane. I told you, bro, I still need a picture of you to go up on my wall here. I'll take the one down of my kids. You're going up. Marble Whores TV here says, name a big club that doesn't need a director of football. They all do. As an outsider, I will say you will not win a title until the Glazers change or go. I think most people agree. Original Base Annie says, problem is United fans aren't united. That's a big element. The divide amongst United fans is it's civil war like, bro. It really, really is. Baz One says, I disagree. Kyle, Moneyball with our budget would yield results, in my opinion. Bro, I think short term, maybe long term, absolutely no chance.
You need to recruit well consistently. The pound amount is irrelevant. Net spend doesn't matter. It's just recruiting well. Whatever your budget is, if you recruit well, you're successful. Simple.
Totally agree. Nozlike here says it's not true that they only spend in the Champions League. Jose got 180 million spent the year after qualifying for the Champions League with Lukaku, Matic, Lindelof, and later Alexis. That's a very good point.
Well, but no, 1 second. People need the spending. Forget the spending. We spent money this summer. Did Solskjaer get what he needed? That is when we say back in, it's not about spending money. LVG spent a lot of money, or a lot of money was spent during LVG's time. But you speak to LVG, and he says he wasn't backed in terms of what players he wanted versus what players he got. So in Jose's last year, he got Fred for 50 million. Did he want Fred? It didn't matter if it was 5 million or 50 million. He didn't want Fred, and he ended up with Fred.
Backing manager isn't about money, because you could argue that when FSG bought Robertson for Klopp at 8 million, was that backing him? Yes, because Klopp really wanted him. It wasn't about the money that was spent. A few more super chats. Jason here says it's obvious Klopp was the future of football at Dortmund. Now it's obvious Balassi is Balassi's about 80 years old, bro. Talk about the future of football. Man is old. Like, man could be your granddad, bro. Future of football. People got to calm down. Sonny Unfiltered says Man United are too big for Poch. Keane will get the culture. Roy Keane, bro. Sonny.
Oh God.
No.
There's a comment from someone called Just Looking. Can you bring it up?
That one there.
Yeah. See, these are the details that people miss. Chelsea don't recruit well consistently. We're still successful. How quickly do Chelsea solve their mistakes in the transfer market? Immediately. At Manchester United, we still got Phil Jones, still got Marcus Rojo, still got Luke Shaw from 6 years ago. Chelsea solved these problems quickly. Look at how Chelsea have dealt with Bakayoko.
Yep.
Right. Sold Matic, brought him in within 1 year. We'll loan you out, make money from loan fees, and then we'll sell you. We'll make our money back. Yeah, we don't even do that at Manchester United. You know what's been missing in all of this? All of this Ollie out, Woodward out, Glazers out, bust up in the changing room, fist fights, all of these things. Jesse Lingard's still a Man United player.
Mate, exactly.
Yeah, allow Jesse, man. Allow Jesse.
No, I like Jesse. But
you see how many problems we have that we don't solve quickly enough.
I agree with that. We don't solve problems quickly.
We've got holes in the roof at Old Trafford that are leaking on people's heads in games. those are the types of things that need fixing. We are going to move on, though, talk about this problem. We're going to talk about a couple of the new signings that came in. We're going to look at Alex Telles. I have to say, the best attacking left back in the Premier League, no doubt about it. Because, and do you know how we know this? Robertson that gets nowhere near the Brazil squad. Why hasn't he been Brazil? He's never been picked for Brazil. So how can he be a Telles? That's a fact.
Can you not tell us, please, Terry? Because you gassed up Bruno like this, and look what's happened. Just
Bruno's been amazing, bruv. It's just Ollie's tactics are dead, bruv. What are you saying? What are you saying? Listen, Telles on a real level. We know he's very, very good. Do you think Telles is going to come straight into the team instead of Luke Shaw, or do you think he'll be bled in? Do you think maybe he'll play further forward as like an attacker? What are you thinking, Carl?
I've been hammering this kid on YouTube for a little bit now. To be fair, I've been calling Alex Telles a little bit of a myth because listen, you could obviously compare him to Fernandes, not positionally. I mean, the scenario where he's coming in from Portugal. He's got big numbers. Everyone hangs off this 13 goals malarkey that he scored last season, but he's on every set piece, which obviously is a massive advantage for him. So you can't really. So he's a goal scoring left back because he's on every set piece. He had a stint in Italy, obviously flopped there. He's 27 years old. Why is he still playing in Italy, in Portugal? And why does no one else want him? That is my sort of thoughts on it, where we alluding back to what we just spoke about. Is he an alternative? Was he offered to him last year of the contract? Porto desperate for the money. You know what I mean? It stinks of a Woodward signing to me. He might come in and be class, and I'll still support him regardless. If I don't like him or do like him, I still support him. He's got a United shirt on. I hope he does come in and do well, but I just don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I just don't. There's just so many questions of why he's still in Portugal at 27. Why does no one else want him? And he's played in a better league and failed. So yeah, you boys are probably going to shoot me down on this, but yeah, that's my thoughts on the old Alex Telles transfer.
You know what I'd say to that? What I'd say is, I understand why you're asking those questions, but a player blossoming at 27 years old, moving to a league and doing well for 2 to 3 seasons is impossible. That happens. The issue, it's not an issue. I think he'll be an upgrade on Luke Shaw as an attacking fullback. There's no doubt about that. But if you know anything about him defensively, him playing on that side of the pitch next to Harry Maguire, this is why we needed a left-sided centre-back, is going to be problematic for us. It's going to be really problematic. Telles doesn't like people running at him, and neither does Harry Maguire. So we're actually weaker on that side defensively now. And it's one step forward, one step back. And this is how you can tell we have not... Well, we already know he was offered to us. So on that score, I sort of agree with Carl. And Neeks' point earlier, I've made that point before. You know, who was our target? Who were we scouting? Obviously, he's been offered to us. We looked at the reports because we're in Portugal all the time. We've got scouts that basically live in Porto and Sporting Lisbon Stadium. So he'll bring something to us. Having the option between him and Luke Shaw is better for Manchester United Football Club. But the fact that we don't have a left-sided centre-back next to him next to Maguire, trust me, that is a disaster waiting to happen. But again, as long as his attacking contribution outweighs any of his defensive weaknesses, then he'll be a good signing for Manchester United. But I don't think he's going to come in and maintain his outputs, the goals, the assists.
Well, we know already he takes penalties for.
He's not going to match.
He's not going to for.
A fullback who consistently actually gets to the byline and puts crosses in.
But what I was going to say,
one sec. We've got a message here from somebody's wife who just says, "I disagree, husband."
By the way, my opinions are unvalid for my whole channel, by the way, because she probably disagrees with me on most of them. So,
mate, you can't be husband and wife and not disagree on everything. That's just
no, that's not so true.
But on Telles, the big difference between him and Luke Shaw, and like you'll just realise just how crap Shaw is going forward. You know, you'll see him in scenarios by himself, confronted with 2 people, and he'll know what to do.
But I think that's why there's a possibility that we may revert to a back 5 much more often than we've seen. He's done it at times, and it generally hasn't worked. If we're going to be completely honest, in some of the big games it has, but I think even in some of the smaller games, because of Telles' attacking abilities, the back 5 with Shaw as the left centre back is a more viable option and less defensive option with a proper left wing back. I think we spoke about it. I don't know if it was on this channel, but I know I definitely spoken, I think, to Danny about it. So it may have been on this one, with saying that I think that's why Fred needs to play on the left side of whether you're going to have a midfield 2 or whatever it might be with midfield 3. He has to play because he would definitely give cover, and he's got the mobility to cover when Telles is bombing forward on that side. Matic is, and imagine you got Matic, Maguire, and Telles on that left-hand side of the, and Rashford, because Rashford doesn't get back that much. That whole side, going forward, it might work. Yeah, Rashford and Telles, but going back, it's going to be a complete liability. We'll be attacking down the left. We'll be attacking down the left and hoping that the opposition attack down our right where we've got Wan-Bissaka. So
no, we don't.
Fred will
We've
definitely
got that problem now with Wan-Bissaka, Pogba, and Greenwood down the right-hand side in the 4-2-3-1.
Going forward.
No, even with the 4-2-3-1 right now, when Pogba's on the right-hand side with Greenwood, and Wan-Bissaka, we've seen he's been caught out positionally. We're weak on that side as well. So the Telles styling, it's always one step forward, and then you know that backward step is going to come at some point. Like, you just know. But like you said, I think the back five with wing backs, Tellers on the left on that position. But then can Luke Shaw be trusted to play there week in, week out?
I mean, when he's played there, he's probably looked better there than as a left back week in, week out. That left back that we need. Whether he can do it consistently is another argument. But of all our other centre backs, how many of them can you say can do it consistently anyway?
Guys, so what I'm hearing is so far here, I just want to make sure I want to kind of bring it down about. We're not very excited about Telles. We think he's going to be a defensive liability. We think he's a bit of a, not so much a stat padder, but because it's corners and free kicks, which he may not necessarily be taking at Manchester United, his stats are going to shrink dramatically. We've basically signed a very average football player that's going to be exposed defensively in the same way Shaw is, but he may put in 3 or 4 good crosses a month.
No, I disagree. These man are being negative. I'm happy.
He's a fucking Brazilian Delo, mate. That's what he is.
Yeah, I'm happy. This guy. I'm happy about it. The reason why I'm happy about it is because we don't see Shaw week in, week out at left back. So it's like, all right, if Ollie does decide to change the system and play him as a wing back, that means his defensive duties are much less. And we've already seen going forward, he's good. This is a good signing and a positive signing. It's just the fact that we didn't improve the first 11 elsewhere, so it makes it seem worse than what it is. We were all crying out for Manchester United to sign a left back. Yes, we wanted more players. We wanted a centre back. We wanted Sancho. We wanted a holding midfielder. We didn't get those 3 positions filled, but we signed a new left back. Like I said, we have been crying out. However long Luke Shaw's, we've been crying out for at least 5 years. I can say myself personally.
6 years,
yeah,
bro.
6 years. It's too long anyway. You get what I'm saying? That's a long ass time for a new left back. So now we sign a new left back. Now it's an issue. It's like, no, that's a step in the right direction. At least they're trying to improve a position that needs to be improved upon. So I can't really be upset about that.
I'm not upset. Listen, I'm upset about Man United right now, so my voice might sound. I'm not excited about anything about Man United right now. I think.
No, is it just all dooming? So you're basically telling me that we're just finished as a club. Listen, I try and look at silver linings. We got no chance of success, no chance of nothing. We just done.
Flawless, I'm gonna be honest. After that transfer window, I'm drained. I'm exhausted. I haven't got the energy for Man United right now. Now, listen, during those 90 minutes when we're playing Newcastle and we're playing Chelsea and PSG, yes, I'm gonna be pumped. I'm gonna be up for it. But outside of that, listen, you might have to kick me off the show because I'm not bringing nothing. I am done. I'm done.
I'm in trouble. I host not just my shows. This is my channel. This is my business. I'm done, bro. Honestly, I felt like turning this channel into an EastEnders Roundup show channel, just doing like previews and reviews on the EastEnders shows. So I'm like, I got nothing left. I look at Man United and look, tell us if I'm going to start getting like, I feel like
hope and pray FC. That's
me, right? I'm like that, bro. But like, tell us, I look at it this way. I'm not going to. I think Rant's come on here once and said like Bruno's assist stats are inflated because he takes the corners and the free kicks. I'm like, but that's like. So does KDB, right? So KDB, although he does create a lot of great goals, his stats are added. David Beckham, these free kicks and these corners and his crossing were like his main 3 things. I don't think we should people go, oh, Rashford only gets more goals than Tammy because he takes penalties. Well, it ain't our fault Tammy's bad at penalties, is it? So I won't take that away from Telles, but I actually think I get your point that his stats won't be as high because he won't be taking penalties here regularly, and I don't think he'll take the corners or the free kicks. However, I'm watching his game.
He might take corners, to be fair.
He might take corners with his left peg from one side. He might do a bit of that.
He'll be better than Phil Jones on corners anyway. So there you go.
Exactly. What he can do is cross the ball amazingly well from deep. He has that Beckham-esque ability to cross from in between, say, where the 18-yard box is and the halfway line, that area there. We don't have anybody that can cross from that position and make it dangerous. And sometimes you need that because teams play low block against us, and it's almost impossible to get past a fullback and a wide midfielder. And actually, someone like him, as long as you can work him a yard or two of space, he can whip a ball in from there, and it could be dangerous. And that brings us on to the next guy. And before we do the next guy, thank you very much, Zane. Your first super chat said, Obama, who? You need to finish that off, Zane. And the next one said, did you see Maguire is starting his own luxury fridge line at Harrods? Each fridge comes with Greek food.
Yeah, I got it on pre-order.
Yeah, bro. I love Greek. Greek food is amazing, bruv. Don't sleep on Greek food, my brother. Cavani, the new number 7. Every time I say that, I honestly, it didn't sound like a bad analogy. I was going to say it's like kissing your sister. That's too deep. It's like non-alcoholic beer. It's like non-alcoholic beer, right? It's nice that we've got, like, there's a new number 7, great. But it just ain't right. And I'm sorry to be negative again, but giving him that number 7 shirt, it feels like someone's stabbed me and then they've rubbed salt in the wound afterwards as well. Do you get what I mean? That's how I feel right now.
I think we gave it to him maybe just to let him know, whether rightly or falsely, whatever, that, you are a part of this. We need you. Because if you're giving the number 21 or the first, it's like, oh, I'm just a squad player. I think they're trying to impart something in him because we need it. We need some help up front. And I know that, the front three are great, but that's just free. We need more. We've got 60 games a season. We need a lot. So I think by giving him a high squad number and the number 7, again, it's hope and pray FC. We're hoping that the 7 is going to boost him to deliver at his best. And you know what? I said already, Cavani's not a bad signing. It's just the furore around how we ended up with Cavani. If we signed Cavani the day before, the day after we signed Van der Beek, and then we were then going after Sancho, we wouldn't even be focusing on that. But it's come at the end of us failing to get Sancho, who was supposed to be the number 7, and we ended up with Cavani as a panic buy. And I feel sorry for Cavani because he doesn't deserve as a player of his stature, but it's just the situation that he's come into. And you know what? For 200,000 a week, I'm sure he's not complaining about the situation he's come into, but it's not fair on him if we are going to now kind of not welcome him into Manchester United because of everything else. It's not his fault. I think he's a good striker, and I think it's so timely with Martial's red card that he's coming where he is. And I just think we just need more options. Greenwood, we cannot expect that he's going to play every game this season. He just turned 19 years old. Again, it will be unfair on him if we're expecting him to carry the workload on that right-hand side. So I'm happy with that signing. Him and Tellez, I think they can form a good partnership.
Yo, why do you guys listen, man? That number 7 shirt ain't meant nothing since Ronaldo left. I don't know why you guys are still hung up on
You know why? Because we're holding on to hope. We are praying hope. We're holding on to it, man, innit? Give me some positivity. Jesus, normally I'm the most critical on this channel. It's like, yo, give me something in it. You might have given me nothing to work with whatsoever. I'm hoping for a silver lining, man.
I'll give you the silver lining, please. I've got it for you. So
go on.
When you put Tellez and Cavani together as signings, I like that. I spoke about the negatives with Tellez defensively. Going forward, who do you think is more likely? Who's going to be Cavani's number 1 supply? It's probably going to be Tellez, right? This is where people who think Martial's a proper number 9, you'll see what a proper number 9 looks like when Cavani comes into the team. Furthermore, somehow, Manchester United now have 4 to very good strikers. That's amazing. We don't have the strength and depth for 4-2-3-1 in the wide forward positions. But if we decide to go 5-3-2, we now got 4 premium options, in my opinion, that can last the season.
Do you know what, though, worries me? And this is why I can't be positive, because I'm finished with being positive.
You just said we were being too negative, and now you're...
No, I am. But no, it's not about being negative. I didn't say that. I don't think I said that. I'm not saying be positive. I'm saying I get it, right? it's this Man United civil war thing, bro, amongst their fans. If Cavani comes in and does well, right? If Cavani comes in and does well, you're gonna get the Ollie out merchants and the Marseille FC are gonna look for every problem. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a prime example. Any striker comes in and scores 27 goals for you in a season, it's praise. I still hear people now say, yeah, but if it weren't for Zlatan missing, Pogba would have got more assists. As Zlatan made Martial go backwards, slowed the play down, did this wrong, did that wrong, did this wrong, did that wrong. And now we're all saying, haven't won a trophy in 3 years. The last time we won a trophy is when we had a proper striker in Zlatan playing up front. You see how the hypocrisy comes in from these fucking idiots. They're just, they drive me nuts. And this is what's going to happen. If Cavani comes in and kills it, they'll turn it into a negative. He's killing Greenwood. He's killing Martial. Yeah, but United have just won 2 trophies. I don't care about the trophies. It's about the progression of young people. Oh, last week you won trophies. No, I didn't say that. You did. I know what's coming. It's the same shit every year, bro. It's like I wear soaps on. You know this, right? Every single year, what happens in soaps? There's an affair at Christmas. There's an affair. There's a murder. There's a sexual assault, and there's a few funny stories.
And there's a fire. There's always a fire.
Always a fire. Someone's put, my back. This is it. Same shit every year, bruv. Every year. And I know what's going to happen. The same as when we start the Donny van der Beek and Bruno thing. Oh, I know Bruno's good, but he ain't better than Pogba. Who cares if he's better than Pogba or not? I want Man United to win. No, we've got to always support Pogba over everything else. Why? I don't know. Yeah, it's just.
Can we talk about Paul Pogba? Man. Can we talk about Paul Pogba?
I just want to make one point, though, Danny, before you go. Like the analogy that Terry made there in Civil War. We are Avengers for real. We are going through Avengers Civil War right now. That's literally it. Like this match is in well in that. It's literally it now. This is what we're going through. Go on, Danny.
No, I just want to know how everybody felt about Paul Pogba's, generic, unnecessary, or, I'm committed to United. I play for United, but Real Madrid, who wouldn't want to play for them? Like, how did you guys feel about the timing of those?
That's it. Sorry, go on for this.
Couldn't have been worse timing. Just a very stupid comment to make. And I'm a massive Pogba fan, but you are giving people ammunition in the gun to shoot you with. People already doubt your commitment. I personally don't, but people doubt your commitment. People doubt you want to be here. You've been poor the whole of the season so far. We just got beat 6-1 at home. We just didn't get players we wanted in the transfer window. Old Trafford's leaking. Everyone wants the Glazers out. Everyone wants Woodward out. The fan base is split 50-50 between Ollie in and Ollie out. And you come and turn around and say, it'd be a dream to play for Real Madrid. Just read the room. Please read the room, man.
Can I say, so Terry, let me say, I don't disagree with anything Flora said. As a matter of fact, I agree. But honestly, when I heard it, when I saw the quotes, I don't even care anymore. I'm going to be honest. No, I don't care. Pogba said a year ago, nearly to the day, I'm looking for a new challenge. He hasn't come out in any time since then and said, guys, you know what? This is the challenge. I'm here. He hasn't said that. So I'm still going by what he last said when he looked at the challenge. So this is he's just repeating himself. Now, yes, I agree 100% worst time to do it. But I knew he wasn't 100% committed to Manchester United because a year ago he said he's looking for a new challenge. And in that year, he's barely played for us, injuries, whatever. And he hasn't signed a new contract. Mino Raiola comes out and says, yeah, we're going to get that contract sorted. Pogba comes out and is, Ed Woodward hasn't spoken to me. They're giving mixed messages, mixed signals. Pogba wants to leave. I've accepted that. For people calling that he's our best, he should be best captain. He's not committed to Manchester United. And I don't even have an issue with that in the sense that you need to think about yourself first. Yep. Nobody at Man United, really, your bosses, maybe, Solskjaer might be in a couple of players, but the majority of the structure of Man United ain't really committed to Man United. Everyone's thinking about themselves. Yep. So I don't even blame Pogba. Whatever, do what you want. I'm tired of getting annoyed by Pogba's quotes. It comes every single international.
All I saw what Pogba was doing was this. All I saw was...
don't turn around, don't.
This is all I saw. I just saw Buongiorno Zidane, and he's like this. And he's just like this. Everyone, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I've got black jogging bottoms on, so you can't see it, bro. That's what he was doing. You can't see the back off today, but that's all he was doing. He was lifting his skirt up, saying, "Look, come get me, come get me." That's literally what he was doing.
And the thing is, he done this a year ago. We already know.
Exactly.
You said it a year ago. Why are you saying it again? And then giving us the whole, you know what? I'm at United, so while I'm at United, I'll try to get United back to the top. Like, just don't say anything. You're on international duty for France. He answered that question because he wanted to.
100%. People come out with, "Oh, it was a question he had to answer." No, he didn't.
Yo,
you haven't seen all these politicians throughout all of this time. Like, you think Pogba's an idiot? Listen, Pogba. If you think Pogba had to answer that question, you are insulting Pogba's intelligence.
Yeah.
All he has to say is we're Man United player. Do you know what I mean? That's all he has to say.
That's it. Next question.
Or you say no comment. That's all you can say. No comment.
And you know what? He can say no comment in about 5 languages.
It's like you're back in it's like when you're in a cop shop. Just say no comment and you'll be out a lot quicker than if you start giving answers. Trust me. It's as simple as that. Listen, everyone who's tuned in tonight, a massive thank you. Actually, we're not going to do the show again until after we play against Newcastle. We're obviously going to do previews for those shows. Now there's no transfers to talk about. We're doing previews all week for all the big shows that are coming up. Terry is a madman. Confirmation complete. Bruv, you wait till you see a 30-minute video that I recorded earlier when that comes out, bruv. That's coming out very, very soon. I watched it back and I lose my head. I didn't recognize myself. I was watching it again. Who's this man? It's me. I showed it to my daughter. She cried. She's like, "Who's that, Daddy?" Me. Your dad. He's gone. She doesn't understand. And then, in fairness, halfway through, she just pointed at the TV and just said Peppa. She's into Peppa Pig at the minute. I turned Peppa Pig off earlier to watch football. Oh my God, she went mental. Honestly, I thought she was going to stab me, bruv. I thought she was going to go kitchen, grab a blade, and go, "I hate you." Blup, blup. Final, yeah, that's it. Everyone's super chats have been read. A few people saying, definitely read them all out. Cam here says, PP looking world class today. It's down to team structure. Listen, on Paul Pogba, I mean this sincerely. I get it. This is one of the reasons why I do want Poch and Nagelsmann in, though. Because a lot of the people that are Ollie out are complete Pogba sympathizers. Now, I love Pogba. I defend him where he needs to be defended. I criticize him where he needs to be criticized. The egg on some of these people's faces, if Poch comes in, we start balling and Pogba's awful or moved on or inconsistent. Equally as well, I'd love to see the faces. Wouldn't you love to see it? These guys, like, I don't know, Saeed, love you, bro, but Poch comes in, he's like, "Yeah, it's going to save us." First thing he does is sell Martial and Pogba. That would just be great comedy value, because it'd be like, so you know those managers you wanted out for wanting rid of them, your favorite manager had done the same thing. Probably won't happen, by the way. It's a bit of a joke. Chill out. I didn't mean it.
Oh yeah, no, Ollie's going to keep his job and get top 4, and you guys are going to be so salty about it. I can't wait.
I hope that happens in terms of us getting top 4. I believe we will get top 4 this season, but just not with Ollie.
Just not with Ollie. Savage.
I just think we won't.
I just think the fucking club's a shambles, mate. Anyone that comes in is going to get fucked over, and we're dead again. And we're back to the start. We're back to the start of, "Oh, he's going to take us to the title." Fuck off. Not having it.
Mate, I'm in your training for. I'm just not. One of the biggest things I'm not going to be positive anymore is it's the hope that kills you, bro. It's the hope that kills you. Do you get what I mean? Like I said the other, like I would love to go on a date, get to fall in love with, and marry the number one most beautiful looking woman in the whole of the UK, Michelle Keegan. I'd love for that to happen, but it ain't happening. I mean, it isn't happening. So what's the point of me getting my hopes up? Man United being run well enough to win major trophies again, which is supposedly what the expectation is. If that's the expectation, with our board, we ain't getting there. So my expectations are now dropping. I'm happy to win a few games against our top 6 rivals, beat a few small teams up in the year, and hopefully avoid finishing lower than 8th. If we do anything better than that, I'm a happy man now. That's my expectations, because that's the way we behave, like a middle-of-the-road team. So my expectations are middle of the road. And I don't care if people say, I'm defeated. I'm defeated by Woodward, and I'm defeated by the Glazers. And I'm done with it. I'm absolutely done.
Well, I gave my preseason. I say preseason. It was more post transfer window predictions. I had Man United 4th before the transfer window. The season started. After the transfer window ended, I got us 5th, and that's at a push. That's really at a push if we finish 5th. I'm not gonna lie, because Spurs recruited well and they've started well, and I think Jose will do well at Spurs. I think the top 3 for me will be Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, whatever order you want to put them. Well, Chelsea won't be winning it, so you don't put them there. But whatever order you want to put them, and Man United and Arsenal will be fighting for 5th. And you can't discount the Evertons, the Leicesters, those, one of those teams always in and around. But I don't necessarily predict them to be there. If they end up there, they end up there. Well, we'll be lucky to get 4th.
I've put a 7th or 8th after that. Now,
really?
7th or 8th, yeah. We are going to have a shocking season because we've undermined Oli. And the last time we undermined a manager, beginning of a season, look what happened to Jose. And we did it to LVG halfway through a season. And whenever we've done that before, historically, we don't go on to do well. And you can see the disharmony already. The stories, go back and just listen to stories that were being leaked at the beginning of the 2018-19 season. It's the same stories with a different manager's name on it. And I know it's coming from Woodward. I know he's the man that's linking it, trying to protect himself. Woodward is that, like, that snitch at work. Like, he was that, he snuck out early with all of you and went to the pub, but he's the one that grassed you up to the bosses so that he don't get in trouble. He's that guy, Trust me, he's a little snitch, bruv. Little snitch, little grass, mate. Wouldn't be surprised if his dad was a policeman. Do you know what I mean? Like a proper little narc, mate. This all dirty grass, mate. That's what he is.
Terry, there's
a milk monitor boy, isn't it?
There's a comment in here. I can't remember who's asking it now. I think the guy's name's Sid W.S. Andrew Affioni. Basically, he wants you to put a poll on Twitter, possibly, maybe on your community on here. I don't know. But basically, to gauge where the fans are at in terms of Oli in.
On the terrace, definitely Oli out, mate. There's no doubt about that.
Well,
the terrace, we'll do it. I mean, it'll be Oli out by I'm going to guess and say about 82%. Mainly, we've got. Do you know the irony in it is this though? This is like rival fans that think he's trash. They're pushing too hard with the notion that he's rubbish because they don't realize that they're the ones that are pushed over the edge. Because the only fear factor for a rival is that Poch does come in, and like myself and Carl and that are wrong, and he actually comes in and we transforms us into a brilliant team, because then it's like, maybe we shouldn't have pushed so hard. Maybe we should be trying to convince United fans it isn't so bad with Oli. Maybe we bluffed them too hard there, but we'll see what happens, man. But for me, I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm financially not supporting Man United anymore. I'll support the players on the day. I'll always love and respect Oli, but yeah, I'm finished. But do you know what I'm going to have to do after most match days now? I'm just going to have to stick on the treble-winning DVD season, that season on DVD, and be like, listen, I'm history. I'm just going to live in the past now and be like,
just run it concurrently. Game week 6, you watch the 6th game of 1999 season.
That's what I might do, bro. That's what I might start doing now, because Man United are dead. Man United are almost dead to me. Almost.
Well, your life support is what you're saying.
Yeah, life support. That's where it is. You know what I mean?
Life support. Are you just looking at like, yo, should I pull the plug to charge my phone? That's what we're looking like, isn't it?
That's where I feel,
That's
bro.
looking like.
I just feel the club's done me in. I put too much faith in them, but there we go.
Boys, listen, we're going to finish 4th. Remember I said
reckon we're going to finish 4th. I think so too. I agree with you, Danny.
We do. I'll be happy, by the way. But
like, this is the thing from last season. People have sort of that, like, he was in a rut last season and he got out of it, but we had worse players during that rut. That was the Lingard, Pereira, Mata era. That era is dead. It's a completely different. It's complete. We'll bounce back. That's what I believe. I'm being positive. All you guys dreaming for a Man United manager to get sacked after 3 games in a season, like.
Yeah, I know. I get where you're coming from. I get you, but bruv, I mean that's Woodward again shutting his videos down. I hear what you're saying on that, bruv. I do hear what you're saying on that. I feel though this season's different because I don't feel like we've ended. The last season doesn't feel like it ended. It just feels like it's a continuous season. And I think that's maybe where some of the problems lie as an example. But listen, I'm sure this next week when we preview the games, match reactions to the Newcastle game next Saturday, will be live on the Football Terrace. Man United watch along retro edition. Yeah, Brack, bro. Listen, do you know what? I know you guys are currently champions, but you just had the most embarrassing football result in the history of the Premier League. So hush your gums, bro. I don't want to hear from you, man. You Johnny come latelys. Get out of here, Rack. Do one, bruv. No, I ain't joking. Listen, everyone who's tuned in this evening, thank you. Do me a big favor. Smash the like button, share button, retweet button. Back in the morning, about 7:30 a.m. I'll be live. And yeah, got work tomorrow. Gym tomorrow. Gym's been crazy recently. The gains have been mad. The amount of new clothes I've got to buy is crazy. It's mad. Mad. I don't really know why I'm telling you guys that, which damn. Anyway.
No. Terry. You just want to boast. That's okay, man. We'll give you your flowers and that. You don't look hench. You don't even fit in the screen and that. You know what I'm saying? You just looking wedge.
Within about 2 weeks, yeah, my shoulders are going to be about there, but it's crazy. I think it's at a certain age when you fill out and it's like, it's just mad. It's crazy. But now my clothes don't fit and I'm in trouble. But
speaking of flowers, has Stormzy replied yet?
No,
he's not. No,
you know, the funniest thing about Stormzy. Again, I'm sort of drill and rap and grime. It's not really my thing, although I have got like albums of those guys and Chip and stuff. But what I find interesting about it is like the whole the PR element. Because Stormzy, for me, for a couple of years, I feel like he'd gone away from where that music stemmed from. He's become very mainstream. You know, man's on Jonathan Ross show, man's doing all these nice things, and that's great that he was doing that. But I kind of, there's a part of me, maybe I shouldn't say this. I almost like the idea that he turned up at someone's house angry because I'm like, that's just for non-working class people. That's just quite normal when you get into a row with someone to do something like that. And I was like, he's still normal.
Well, the thing is when he that's why when Wiley sent for him, I wasn't even 100% sure if he replied because I'm like, Stormzy's past that. Like he's not even in that kind of. He never grew up on that grime kind of where people just clashing on radio, back to back, day to day. But when he replied to that, I think he realized, yeah, even though I've gone commercial and I'm making my money and none of that's affected, I still got to have the respect in the streets. Now, if he doesn't reply to Chip, that respect that he gained after the Wiley clash, a lot of it is going to disappear. Because a lot of it was gained from the older generation when he clashed Wiley. They were like, all right, at least he knows he's not too big for this.
But he was playing with Wiley. It was the timing. He was about to go to America. He's missing out on his world tour now. But he had a lot of personals for Wiley. Chip's personals, we already know. He got robbed for his chain once. You know what Pitch said to someone who dissed him about it? The guy that robbed me would have robbed you. So you can't even,
I remember that one.
You can't even use that angle. This is about bars. Do you have bars? Because Wiley just didn't really have much for him. He was just clashing like it was, 2005. Where Chip is battling him in the way you're supposed to in 2020. Visuals, everything. Shell petrol. As soon as you saw that Shell Stein, as soon as you saw it, he was like, okay, he's in the petrol station again. Okay, let's go.
We knew what time it was, but the thing is with Stormzy, he has the ability and the capability of sending back. It's just a question of if he does it, because there's enough on Chip. There is enough on Chip if you can attack him. And you just have to do it correctly. Like do
you think it depends on what Chip actually knows about Stormzy and what Stormzy knows?
Yeah, that's the thing. Go on.
Could be opening a can of worms here around. I know he knows some real bad stuff. That if that comes out, my A-list celebrity status could be dragged from underneath my feet. But then I suppose when it comes to again, this is my interpretation. I could be wrong of like sort of the rap grime industry. I feel it's a bit like the indie rock scene. Unless you have credibility at grassroots level, like underground level with it, I think selling lots of songs with Ed Sheeran is great from a pop music point of view. But from a grime perspective, it's no, we want to see what you're like when it comes to actually going head to head with someone. And I found like you get a lot of these bands that come out that pretend they play indie music. The real true indie fans that are based up in like the Manchester, they don't like it. They're like, yeah, but you've got no credibility on this scene. And so that's how I look at it as kind of an outsider looking in. I'm waiting for the reply, but
he had a nice angle. Chip gave him a layup already. When Chip brought up, you brought who are these outsiders with you? Those aren't your original mandem you brought with you to my crib. Well, you don't have who was managing you back in the day? It was Tottenham Old was managing Chip back in the day. He's got a different manager now. So his circle changed as well. Listen, he needs to reply, man. He might not though. He might just do a Jay-Z thing.
Well, the thing is, you know what I said at the beginning of Chip's both of the discs, he goes mixtape coming soon. So if he replies, I wouldn't be surprised if he replied after Chip's mixtape come out, because I don't know what the beef exactly is going on between them, how it started, in terms of personally. But he might be thinking, I ain't giving your mixtape no clout. I ain't letting you sell nothing. So you bring that out. When it fails, that's what Stormzy might be thinking. Chips, I love Chip. I download all this stuff. But he might be thinking, when it fails, or we don't sell what I sold, which is not because it's Stormzy, am I going to add that to my bar? So yeah, bring that out, and then you hear from me. I don't
Here's
know.
the thing, though. If Stormzy's smart, what he'll do is he'll drop an album around the same time, and then they can both win. Because Stormzy sent for Chip. I think it was 2-3 months ago, talking about I'm the king of grime. I can't remember what song it was. I don't know. He has. So it's like this happened 2-3 months ago, innit?
Yeah.
Stormzy sent for him. So it's kind of like, all right, now you've set pace and set like what's going on. You have to respond, and I think he will, because even if Stormzy loses and he's terrible, he has a core fan base who will say he won regardless. And it won't affect his mainstream success. It might affect him down here, grind, but mainstream success will be fine.
Speaking of music quickly to anyone who is watching, and I did speak to Stroh about this the other day. My brother has got a very good friend of his called Bouncer, who owns a studio in North London, and he currently records a lot of music, demo tapes and album tracks for a lot of sort of grime rap artists in London. They're starting a YouTube channel, which is basically where they're going to be giving people the opportunity to go and record music for free, edits, cuts, everything. But the recording of it and then the song is going to be like live streamed out across YouTube, across the YouTube platform at the same time from the studios. And it's like a legit studio with, I'm not musically minded, with all the right gear. So if anyone is out there that's got music, they write stuff they want to record, but maybe don't have the means to actually get it done at a professional level, hit me up and I'll put you in contact with my brother and the guy that owns the studio, and they're going to start doing it. The only thing that the Bouncer asked for is that nobody gives away the location of the studio, because about 3 years ago someone did, and when this guy was recording, a gang turned up from a rival postcode with guns. It got messy. So yeah, no giving out the location. That's the one thing Bounce was like, please make sure no one gives out my address. Like, I keep it as private as possible. But yeah, if anyone's out there that's in that space, it's in North London, let us know. And that channel.
I'll show you about that in a couple of months still. That might be useful still.
100%, bro. Yeah, 100%. It's going to be pretty big, I think. And there's a lot of credit. I don't know the artists. I told you it's not my. I listen to Michael Bublé, bruv. Like, I'm not in that world. But I thought I'd shout it out as it's being done. Listen, everyone who's tuning in, thank you very, very much. Take care of yourselves. Good night. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.